You know, like when you're on the road, yeah?
There's no 9 to 5.
That road is from 24 to 24, 12 to 12. Even if you're on the road and you're making £5 a day, you're on road 24. Even if
There's
you have
no
an hour
shutting
now,
up.
if your phone rings, you're up. Like when you go in studio now, it's like, raw, nah man, I'm finishing it. If the song's half finished, I don't care if it's 5 in the morning, we'll go in again. And also networking. So like when you're on the road, you're dealing with different people. Not every drug user is homeless. You got some people that are rich that take heroin. You know what I'm saying? So even when you're on the road, you're dealing with people that are all from different walks of life. So you know how to network in it. You might not be knowledgeable in every single topic because obviously you're from the roads in it. You might not even be book smart, but just having common sense and street smart and knowing raw. This is this and this is that. Then
Same hustle, different product.
See, sometimes, I hate when we start talking, and it's not on camera. But it's like bare useful
It
information.
always happens. I call it the conversation before the conversation, the conversation after the conversation.
And also, I'm gonna be trying to do more as well. Capture. Yo, last week we was in here, before the podcast. On the Thursday, it's a bit active in here.
Yeah.
We had a sick conversation, bro, and I was pissed because we wasn't recording. You get it?
You just get some GoPros, just whack them up as soon as you walk in.
Now, 100. That's what we need to do. Closer to the mic, though.
As soon as you come in, just put the cameras on.
Yeah.
Bam, bam, and just
That's what we need to do, and then
So-
put it all behind the paid wall. You get what I'm saying? Because some of the stuff that we're talking about, like, we're being raw and honest with each other, and do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's about growth, but like, there's no holds barred. You get me? Like,
yeah.
you can't be getting that information for free. You get me? You can't be getting that for free. So that's something that we're thinking about. If you want us to do that, put it in the comments and let us know if you'd be interested in seeing those type of conversations.
the substance, the rawness. Yeah.
The rawness.
You need that.
But before we go anywhere, please, people, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Subscribe, because most of the viewers are coming from people who are not subscribed to the channel. And the more that you subscribe, the more that you engage with the content, the more that we can bring you. If you don't already think we bring beer value, if you help us by doing things that are not going to cost you anything, you'll get way more out of this. Trust me. You get what I'm saying? But yes, wagwan.
You say it, man.
How you doing, man?
I'm all right. I'm in good spirits, man.
Good spirits. Long overdue conversation.
Yeah, defo. But you know what it was? I remember the last podcast we had, and I was
Yeah.
saying to CS, I didn't really feel ready.
Okay, yeah,
I was
yeah.
a bit like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. Still trying to put my foundations in place. Still trying to put myself in a good position mentally, and
Yeah.
also just know, this is the direction I'm going. I kind of had little things here and there, and I'm like, but now I know there's a difference now. Now I know who I am, and I also know what I want to do.
Sick.
So now we're like, okay, we're in a good position. We can have the conversation.
Yeah, even going back before that podcast, obviously you've been networking with people, you've been bringing people together. You've spoke to me from time ago, and it like you've had these your little link ups and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to come to one, but see, I missed out. So I'm saying I missed that opportunity, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it's not because of not because I didn't rate what you lot got going on or whatever. It's just more, bro. I'm in this fast lane of having to do everything, bro. Like, I don't know if I got ADHD or something, but when I need to get things done, I just have to keep going, bro. And sometimes I miss opportunities, or say I'm gonna do something and end up halfway across the road doing something else, or got loads of different responsibilities that hold me back in certain ways as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. But that's also like one of the things that we talk about, because we have to understand, like, there's a stat that says 9 out of 10 people who are over 100 are women. Like, so a lot of men kind of in that process, they never actually get to slow down, see where they're doing wrong or right, or they just bam, 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 bam. And I usually say it, like, men kind of outwork themselves to death kind of thing. So sometimes I reckon you got to slow down. Like, we have these big goals and these big ambitions and these, but if you never slow down, you kind of get to the point where it's like, yo, I'm tired.
Yeah.
And you start messing up, acting out, losing things that you shouldn't lose, impacting your relationships, etc. Like,
100.
and I get it. Like, we got to get it. But at the end of the day, what are we getting it for? To either live or to die? Like,
No, 100. See, for me personally, I don't want to make it sound like it's an excuse, but I fully hear that, and I'm fully with that. You know what I mean? But the way that my thing's set up, sometimes I feel like it's my own mindset, but I do feel stuck within trying to make things happen for a reason. Or the reason is that I've got actual goals that I need to achieve, and if I don't achieve them, I'm gonna end up going backwards. You get it? Does
What
that
if you
make
get
sense?
ill?
Say again.
What if you get ill?
I've got diabetes in it, so that's something that I've looked at before, and I thought, what if X, Y, and Z? You get me? But then I started when I found out that, I started looking after my health.
Yeah.
A bit better. Actually, you going to the gym, but I got a gym in it, so like actually,
You got no
Yeah.
excuse.
you get what I'm saying? So
That's one aspect though. The other aspect is the levels of stress though.
stress, yeah,
Like that can impact your health.
Yeah.
Like stress is the biggest killer in the world.
100.
Like without any doubt. Like a lot of these things that people get is induced from stress, and the stress makes the virus or the disease even worse. So you kind of have to understand like pick your enemy in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the enemy, I get it. There's a certain time where the enemy you pick pushes you beyond your normal capacity and your normal boundaries. But for how long can you fight that battle without destroying yourself?
Yeah. 100%. And I feel like I've gone through all of those things, you know. But more so, I try to take time in my head to realize and understand what you're actually going through now, who it's impacting, what can you actually handle now,
Yeah.
what's actually a priority, and you know, how can you handle what you got going on within what's around you. So I can't control nobody else.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? I can't control no one else, and then I can't keep explaining myself to everyone else because no one don't care.
Yeah.
Not like that, but sometimes you give out information to someone thinking that they're going to care so much that they can help you.
Yeah.
But no, bro, you need to look after yourself. You get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah.
and that doesn't mean don't tell everyone anything. That doesn't mean don't do this. It just means understand the information that you're giving out.
Yeah.
Because it's only going to impact you. Do you get it?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, so
most definitely.
that's what I try to understand more so than anything. But I feel like I've been through a lot of things that people probably don't know that I've been going through. But I'm always thinking to myself, okay, then I'm going, like, this is actually hard, but who can actually help me? Nobody. Because I am the one that's stuck in this. So what I'm going to have to do is figure out how I can help myself within this situation before trying to stress myself out, trying to control someone else's actions. Do you get it?
Do you know what? I reckon you got to come to the groups, you know, because I think there's like a misconception when people create these groups, and they do help, and you see it in the room, and I also see it from the relationships that people form afterwards, and kind of help each other in specific departments, whether that's relationships, whether that's business, whether that's health. I think you got to come, and then you'll see like a lot of it, because the dynamics is impossible to explain unless you're there. Because I feel like when you enter the room and it being my house, I feel like that was just luck kind of thing. Like I say, using your house is great because it allows a certain level of intimacy between them and them.
100.
And it also allows a certain level of exposure into one's life. But then what it does is it gives you accountability without the shame, because I think we're all in the house, shoes off. And if a man says to you, yo, I think you're ruining your own life, or I think that's your fault, it's not taken as, yo, he wants me to lose. It's taken as, you know what?
I've been listening, understanding.
Yeah, he's got 5 kids. I've got 2. Maybe I don't. He's been married for 30 years. I've been married for 2. Maybe he's got a trick or 2 that he can teach me. So when
100.
people go away, they're like, you know what? Let me implement this. Like, in all honesty, I've seen someone's life change while they're sitting there.
Yeah.
Because the information they received at the point that, like, you can see their brain working to the point where I'm going home and trying something different. And then when I've touched base with them later on, I've realized, oh, you did change it, and this is how it's worked. This is the outcome. But then they might enter another hurdle. Then they might ask another question, like, you know what do you think I got to do this? Like, I got a guy, he's probably been the most influential guy that I've met over the last 2 years. And he's just like a normal working guy. He works in IT. He works with BT, and he said to me, one of the things he said to the group was, I just want to do, he's got 2 kids. I just want to do this for my kids. And that's it. But the rest of the room were like entrepreneurs and etc. But when he said that, I thought, why am I trying to get this and that. And really, I should be spending time with my son. That kind of just changed my whole routine. From then and there, I said, yo, I'm changing my whole routine. But then I realized in the same session, what he got was, he went away, he turned around and said, you know what? I've never really felt like I had something to say till I came to the session. So then now he went to his kid's school doing like presentations about getting into tech, etc. And then he's come back, he's like, you know what? I'm going to go work on my fitness. Cool, gone that. Come back, he's like, you know what? I've spoke to 2-3 schools now. Now I want to speak to more people about getting into tech. And it's, you need those environments, like the sick, unless you come into there and you see like there's little pieces. Someone can help you. It might not be with that immediate problem you got. You might, for example, you need a technician for the podcast. It might not be that, but what it might do, just turn your life just a little bit, like a little degree that just makes running this just a bit easier.
Bro, I can learn off anyone. I'm open to learn off anyone. So I do understand the power of these type of groups, 100%, 1000%. And I'm open to most things. You get what I'm saying? Now more than ever, because I understand the people that are around me. And there's sometimes you can be around people for so long that it's very limited that what you can get from them. Not in a bad way, but you know, you conversate with the same people all the time. You know how they move. You know what you're going to get from them. Sometimes you need to get a different perspective just to understand your friends again and what the value is back there. You get me? So 100, but let's just give a bit of context to your actual group, because we're saying so much, but the people them are thinking, yo, what are you going on about? You get me?
Stop, don't go no further. Subscribe to the channel now, press the like button and leave a comment. I don't know why you lot are just watching the videos, you're having beer laughter, beer banter, and you're not leaving a comment. Leave a comment, like, share and subscribe. And don't forget as well, Sinners Vodka available from www.sinnersvodka.co.uk.
I'm Omar Jr. I'm the founder of Study of Men. I've recently created a CIC called Spaces for Men. The Study of Men for me, it's just the way, it's my work and the way we kind of look at men and young boys and how we treat them. And the Spaces for Men, it's like a non-profit organization that I want to build up, just creating spaces for men to learn, grow, and kind of heal from a lot of whether childhood traumas or whether current traumas.
Okay. What made you come up with this idea? I know you've been on the podcast before, and you've kind of been in a space where you've semi-explained where you are in life and wherever. But obviously now you're further down the line in it, so I feel like your explanation would be a bit more
finite. The reason why I chose that specific work or body of work, I think it came from just not really understanding myself as an individual. And I was 20-something, going through a transition in my life, and I thought, you know what? Who am I? What does it mean to be a man? What is it like when you're coming from where I'm coming from? There's not really great examples. Never really grew up with my dad around, so you're now in a place where you're trying to figure stuff out on your own. So then started creating spaces where, at first it was men and women, just to figure out like adulthood, like just learn new things, new people, etc. But then as I'm looking at the guys, I realized maybe guys need a space for themselves. Kept doing that. Then I realized there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. The type of people you meet, there's different variations of men, different variations of masculinity. Just what it means to be a man just means completely different thing to different people, different cultures, etc. So I said, you know what, misstep into it more. Kept reading about it, kept learning stuff around it, kept working on myself. And then just one day, just sitting in the gym, and I thought of the Study of Men. So I just got up, decided, you know what, I'm going to go back to university. Went back to university, still there now. And I thought, let me just try to see if I can actually do this over a long period of time. Because I quite enjoy the work and I love talking to guys, love meeting different guys, and love also looking for solutions on how we can actually improve our environment and the world. So as time's gone along, I'm building Study of Men, studying, learning more about men, but then also creating spaces. So I just use my front room. Probably had between 150 to 200 men. So yeah, that's...
You know what's important to note is the actual environment that you've come from. Because obviously when I look at you, the people that I would associate you to, people like Rudy, You get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
gone on to do big things. But where's he come from as well? He will openly tell you the life that he used to live previously. You get what I'm saying? From more like Ladywood. There's people that's just got like big years. You get what I'm saying? There's people that are doing jail sentences. But these people, they're not even bad people though. Not like that. You get what I'm trying to say?
That, if you know them personally, because it's a strange argument when we look at it from like, because I know we know a lot of these guys personally, like first hand, whether it's school, primary school, like first hand shared dinners and time, holidays. Like I know a lot of these people first hand. So as we grow up, we look at the environments that we're in, and we know people are not. I don't think there's much bad people in the city. I can probably count on my hand the amount of people that I know. Okay, he's in that life and there's no coming back.
100.
Like, I don't think there's no more than 5 in it. A lot of people are good characters, even people that you would have had qualms with before life due to postcodes, etc. You might sit down with them and realize, oh, you actually like me. Like, we're actually very similar. Take away the postcode, take away the little arguments or whatever. We're actually very
Good
common.
people, yeah.
And these people are common. But when we grow up in these environments, especially as boys, our representation of what we have and what we see is we end up being that. So whether that's a drug dealer, whether that's a gunman, whatever, we end up being that. And I think that's where I was at. I was always looking for more. I was always wanting to do more. So I thought, you know what, this is the way. So when you pick a specific lifestyle, for me, it wasn't, that's because everybody else is doing it. For me, it's like, that's what's going to get me from there to there.
Yeah.
So that's why when we chose that, we're like, yeah, cool. But when I look back, I was never dumb. I was never uneducated. I went left school, my GCSEs and etc. I went to college straight away. I've dropped out of uni 2 times before this now. This is my 3rd attempt.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though you can be well educated, you can take in information, you can still be hard to find yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of people go wrong and end up on paths that they shouldn't really be on. You get it?
It's tough because
the fact that you've even the first time you said you don't know who you are, or the fact that you opened up like that, bro, like that's not easy, you know. That is not easy, bro.
It's not easy, but it's truth.
Yeah, 100.
It's not easy.
But a lot of people can't speak the truth. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, most definitely. Like, it's not easy, but like I said, it's truth. But then I've also seen the consequences of not speaking the truth in all dynamics of my life. And I've also seen the consequences of not knowing yourself. Because a lot of the people that we may know and we know they've got big long-term sentences, I would argue that they probably don't know themselves and they probably are searching for themselves as we speak.
100.
Because when you grow up, my cousin got stabbed 10 years ago this year. And I think that was a major line that began where I am today. Even though at that moment I didn't realize, okay, just make a switch change. It started to knock my mental kind of barriers down to the point where I said, yo, I've had enough. Like, that's it. I'm drawing the line. And I think when you go through a cycle of whether it's that and then you see specific things like your friends get locked up for that and you know it's not them, and then next you see more friends get locked up for this, or you see associates locked up for this, you're like, okay, so what's the prize? What's really the prize? And then you realize, okay, there's no prize. Like I realized there's actually no prize. So whether that's I went back to college in like 2018 to study construction. I said, you know what, let me just
learn a skill.
Project management was my chosen skill. Ended up being a project manager, but I just realized it weren't for me. So I just made a transition into actually people, like working with people. Like when you talk to me about psychology, that actually gives me I'm like, yeah. Like,
is that what you do at uni now?
Yeah, I do psychology.
Sick.
Bachelor's degree in psychology. So that's the long-term game to be able to be trained in that field to a level where what my work actually means something. Because right now you look at it and you probably think, oh, this is just an Instagram thing, but it's not. I want it to be credible. I want it to be long-term. I want to actually be able to say, okay, cool. Later we got someone who actually went on and been a doctor in it.
100.
Because that still matters to me very, very well. Like it still means a lot to me to be able to, that representation of where I come from, to be able to say I achieved, even if it's later on in life, because I'm 32 now. Yeah, I could have done it sooner, but at least I still got it done.
Yeah. That's very interesting, yeah, because see, when you're younger and you are in education, it's almost like you're forced to be in education. So you're there. You might be smart, you might be able to answer questions, but you're not really taking in what this actually means. Do you get it? The minute that your mind opens up to being educated, it's a great place to be in. Do you get what I'm saying? And then you can go and learn. You can learn things for no reason. I don't even need this, but I want it.
Yeah.
Do you get it? But I feel like that's what maybe the younger generation don't understand, or they're not put in a position to understand. Like, learning is a good thing, bro. Like, it takes a long time for you to get there, though, because it took me years to get there. But I would actually go to uni to learn something. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I would actually do that now, because the way that I've taken information now, I'm happy to sit in a classroom and receive knowledge and also give back knowledge as well. Do you get it?
I think uni should be when you're at a mature age. I don't think uni should be straight out of college. I do think for someone who dropped out twice before, I think that's the difference now. Like the first time that I went to uni, I went to Coventry. I actually got a scholarship, so they paid me. Like, because of my grades in college, they paid me like £1,000 a term or something. And so I thought, I'm just going to go. I've done a business management course.
I did that as well.
And I'm like,
don't really need this. Yeah.
These times I'm selling like fake LV belts and fake G-Shocks off the internet. And I'm making a lot of money, and I'm like, I'm losing money coming here. And I'm like, nah, I'm gone. So then the following year I went to UCB. I'd done I think it was international business. To be dropping out weren't my fault, to be fair. They put me on the wrong course for like 10 weeks and then told me, oh, you got to catch up with your work. And I said, yo, I'm gone. Like, there's no point. That was just my attitude back then. But now I've chose something that aligns with me. So it's like, we can talk about psychology. A lot of the things that I'm reading about, I'm like, that's common sense. But I only think that's common sense is because my brain works in that way where it sees behavioral patterns. So often I can actually predict patterns of behavior. And that's a skill that I've had over a long time. But now I realize it aligns with that. And I think the problem is, without guidance as a young boy, I wasn't able to see that's my skill, but that's what I'm good at. So then I could have actually studied psychology from college and gone straight into uni and studied it. Like, that's the difference now. So when we raise our kids, like when I raise my son, it's to see what he's good at. It's to not just say, as a boy, I'm going to stick him into football. But what if he's better at tennis? I don't know. It's to find out what he's good at and then place him there for him to have the best chance of doing well in life. And I feel like where we come from, we don't have that guidance.
No.
We're just left to, like, most men play football, but the truth is most men don't make it playing football. Even if you are talented, your attitude will get in you trouble or whatever. And then you see, okay, everyone can be on the roads, everyone can sell drugs, everyone, it doesn't matter what you look like or whatever, you can adapt to do it. You don't. There's no specific skill. Some people just get caught quicker than others, but anyone can do it. So if you come from those environments and they're like, okay, no one's ever kind of showed you how to hone your skills or figure it out, you're gonna go back to default, and the default on the end is being a roadman.
100.
Like that's just. I don't know.
But within that, though, people will pick up skills and they don't even realize it.
Yeah, most definitely.
Pick up skills and you don't even realize it, or you'll be ahead of someone else within that skill, and you don't know that you could actually develop this into something. You know what I mean? You could actually take in a bit more information and make it a profession.
Yeah,
you get it?
Most definitely. Because, say for example, running a line is a business, is an organisation. Especially if you run it in a specific manner of which it was organised, and you're paying multiple individuals or whatever. You're basically running a business. So if you're making like, say, 8 G's a day, that's like 3 mil revenue a year. So if you're managing that over like a year or two, why can't you do that in the real world?
Yep, 100.
You can do that in the real world, but the only difference is the psychology is a bit different. So when you're a road guy, for example, you're very much, there's no long-term play. It's all just instants. It's all just like quick hits, like, because you're making money as it got, like,
there's no
rapidly.
forecast.
There's no but in the business world, you might have to wait a few years till you can get to that. You can see, say for example, you had a Shopify store. You might have to wait a while till you can see the sales coming in every day. But on the road, if you don't see sales for like a couple of days, you're like, oh, this is a crap line. but it's very rare. Even people who don't have great quality drugs can make money. It doesn't really. There's not much that kind of holds you back from it. You can literally just, because it's an addiction.
Yeah.
Where in the real world you have to work on the marketing, you have to work on a product, you have to work on the delivery, etc.
There's loads of strategy to it.
There's loads of components, and these things you can control. You can actually control them, and you have to work on it. And that's why I think people get stuck where they want the fast return instead of over there, rather than saying, you know what, I'm going to change my life around. I'm going to get educated for 5 years, and then I'll turn around and be making 60 grand a year, etc. Like, they don't want to hear that. They don't say, yo, I'll go to Dubai next month. Just a weekend on the road would send you to Dubai next month. Like, it's just the psychology is a bit different. Like, I feel like someone should study it, but yeah.
No, 100%. But more so these days, you can do it that fast as well.
Yeah.
But you've got to educate yourself, and that's the part where a lot of people are falling short. They're seeing examples of people doing it, and they think they can just do it without no education or without understanding that you got to build either the right team or the right type of understanding to the field that you're trying to get into.
Yeah.
You get it, but it can be done that quick though.
Yeah, you can buy your freedom quickly, but I don't think you can build anything long lasting or a good reputation.
That's a different thing.
Like I say, like being self sufficient. From my understanding and my kind of own research, I think it takes 7 to 10 years to be self sufficient. 7 to 10 years of working on a particular thing, or just working. Like, you could be working for 6 years, but on the 7th you work on a particular thing and you can build self sufficiency. But to say, for example, quit your job, you can do that sometimes in 6 months. Like, you just, for example, if you're earning $2,000 a month, what's that? 20. If you get 40 people to give you what, £50 a month, like, you on $2,000. I think if my maths are correct, like it doesn't take that much.
Don't take that much.
Like, you can probably settle a service for that.
But within that, getting them people to take the 50, how much of your time is it taking?
Yeah,
that's what you got to understand. And how can you get those 50s with less work done?
Yeah,
and how much of it can you delegate out and still get back the 50s and work on getting more? You get it. That's the side of it where, but sometimes, like he says, but with the road side, the person that's employing people, the person that's, you know, distributing in a certain way, they have some of them skills, and like you said, it's just a psychology of understanding that you actually have the blueprint. You just need to learn a bit more to understand that you can run a business.
Yeah, learn a bit more about the world and yourself as well, because
both.
There's a lot of lack of self-belief or lack of confidence in the real world. Like, on the say hooded side of the world, you've got the self-belief and competence because you've been competent in that area. You know that you do your thing. But in the real world, most of the men that we know don't have the confidence to operate in the real world. And those are the other things that we also have to learn. Like, we have to learn the skills and the components, but we have to learn the self-belief, the networking, the presentation of oneself, like even how we present ourselves, and even how to speak. Yeah,
it's interesting because I just started a little reality show thing with T Dot, someone who's been on the podcast a lot recently. But he's got his own tap van and he goes out doing his rubbish removal thing, and he's got two people with him, a white woman and a white man, but they're like council estate-ish kind of thing, like, and one of the things that T-Dot says in there is like, this guy has taught me how to go into any business and promote myself. I would never have done that. Like, and that just speaks to what you're just saying. Like, the fact that he thinks that you can't go in somewhere and ask them, you know, if they want their rubbish removed or whatever, like a big, large company, like, and you've had to learn it off someone else. Like, or, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, Just, and it's just
little
small
things. It's little things, because we're not taught how to thrive. We're taught how to survive, and to survive a lot of the time, you just need to do the basics right. To thrive, it's a bit different. You probably have to do the basics over a long period of time. You probably do the basics a lot sharper and a lot cleaner. So how we speak, it's because me and you can have a conversation now, and I can switch it up. Like, raw fam, like you can switch it up, but then imagine what you're speaking to. Say someone calls you and wants you to do a TED talk, for example. And you're like, you don't really hear that on TED Talks.
No.
Because we have to be clear, we have to be concise, we have to be confident in the way we speak. And don't get me wrong, it takes a long period of time because I'm still working on it. And there'll be a period where I even get a speaking coach because it's not that I want to learn to speak properly because I can already communicate. I want to be heard correctly.
I seen you at the beginning of the year, put out that post where you're saying you're gonna just speak to the camera a bit more, just to get used to it. Just you know, basically you're gonna teach yourself how to project your voice a bit better and all that.
Yeah.
And that is something that's not understood as well. And the level of engagement you can get from obviously using technology that's there, that's here, like we're here now. So, you know, as much as you fight against it, a lot of businesses are online, or a lot of building your personal brand is going to be done online. So, and I always say to people this, you know, like, it's not about you having to use these things. You don't need to do anything.
Yeah.
Do you get it? But at least learn how to do it so you know it's there.
I think we must. From where I see it is, my thing is I want to be self-sufficient. I see my Instagram as a CV. I know a lot of people like contact me and like it's a bit personal and stuff, and that's something that I'm trying to just kind of say, yo, you know what, have my number. If you ain't got my number, then it's not personal. What I want to do is create my Instagram as a CV. Like I want it to be a representation of my body of work, because I understand my Instagram reach is here, there, everywhere, like, and it gets to the point where I don't have to look for work. So if
Comes to you.
I want the ability to say, no, I'm taking the kids to the park, I don't want to work. So then instead of me looking for work after, work just comes to me. Like it's just, I put my work out, people know this is how I can get in touch with them. There you go, it's all there. And I think that's what we should use our Instagrams more like that. Like, because I meet a lot of people real life. So then it's a bit bizarre to me that the social media is people only use it as a way to connect with people. And I'm like, yo, real life, like, okay, I met people on there. Okay, let's meet real life. Like I met a guy, he's a psychotherapist, comes from Ends, but he comes from the other side of Birmingham, has ended up doing his psychology degree, graduating, now he's a psychotherapist. So, and I'm like, yo, you're from the other side, I never would have met you. But now I have met you. But then I linked him and we had lunch, and I'm going to meet him again on a regular basis. That's connection. This Instagram thing is it? Yeah, you can connect with other people from the other side of the world. But unless one of you is willing to link, I'm like, yeah, it's not really a real relationship like that yet. But for me, it's like, okay, use it as your CV. If there's people that you want to connect with, take it offline, bring it into real life. But if not, I'm just going to use it for my body of work. People can see what I do, give a little insights on my life and stuff like that, so they understand, he's actually living it. He's not just chatting rubbish, and that's it. And I feel that's what a lot of the big earners online do. Yeah. It's just a CV.
Well, there's that, yeah. But what I've realized as well from building the podcast and certain other things and trying to develop characters and all of the rest of it is that it's one thing to grow online, have growth through like viral content, maybe even emotional content and all that stuff. But it's another to be able to speak to your audience as well. So there's different ways that your social media can represent yourself, and there's different ways that you can use it for different purposes, but it's just not going to happen by just one type of content you know what I mean? Like you've got to utilize it. You got to kind of strategize what it's there for and how you want to utilize it and how you're going to direct people to different places.
Yeah.
So you're trying to say whether you've got a product, whether you've got a service, you get what I'm saying? Like you're going to have to speak to your people. You're going to have to speak to your audience. And
it's about building a connection with the community.
Yeah.
But then you also have to, the one thing that we forget sometimes, you have to be ready to deal with the backlash.
Yeah, 100.
Because that putting yourself or your work out there allows for the negativity. And that's probably one of my biggest struggles. It's wanting to comment on certain things, but then I know it's just going to go off. And I'm just like, okay, are you in a place where you can just take that and just say, you know what, it is what it is, or are you not?
I feel like Birmingham have a big fear about representing themselves, how they're represented and what type of content represents them. I feel like that fear, is met with people just not even getting things done because you're fearing how it may look, but then you're not doing anything about it. Yeah,
most definitely. And
you know what I mean? Like,
I think that's true. It is true because I think most of Birmingham is it's not as big as we actually think. And I think there's a lot of things that infects like the average person from Birmingham, and I think self-belief and the care of other people's opinions matters. Like I think London, for example, London's big. You can not like somebody, and you'd have to jump on the motorway to go see them, and they live in London. Like
That's true.
Birmingham is like, oh, like this part I might see this part. Like it gets like it's a bit too small for big dreams sometimes, and so I do see why people end up leaving, but I don't think we can afford that anymore. Cause I don't think the city's in a great place. Yeah, personally, whether that's from crime, just in terms of
not enough going on.
Not enough going on. Not enough people doing having the impacts that's needed. Yeah,
all the people that are they're leaving the city, like you says.
Yeah, like I always say, success leaves the hood. But I feel like we're in a place now where there is a lot of people doing a lot of good stuff, and we need to continue doing those good stuff. But we also have to do that good stuff with the collaboration of other people doing good stuff. And I feel like that's where we're at right now, to be fair.
100. The one piece of advice that I would give to people in Birmingham, is to not be afraid of technology and go and buy yourself a laptop. Now, seriously, you know what it is, bro? The reason why I'm saying that, obviously we had a little speech off camera, but remember, I've come from like the baseline kind of times, where, I'm seeing my brethren doing well within the music baseline, rare, and then the grime era, flush, rare, all those things. And I constantly see people around me not want to spend money on their music video. Constantly seeing people around me not want to spend money on equipment that can benefit their career within music. It was always a side thing. It was always, I'm not paying for this and that. Do you get it?
Because genuinely, like in terms of the music scene in Birmingham, there should have been a lot more people who done a lot more stuff a very long time ago. Because like when you think of like who, like the Stay Fresh geezers, I think someone like Safwan, he should have really propelled to the next height. Socks should have really propelled, even down to like the Smethwick lot like Bomber B and Jet Raider, some of those guys like they should have really propelled to like unspeakable heights.
And what was missing? It was they weren't investing anything into them.
But you know,
on a consistent basis,
that could probably be the end of it. But then I think sometimes, whether it's exposure, self-belief, and all these things that add up, there is like an actual disease. Like I feel like the investing is the end goal. Because you have to go through all these things to get to the investing.
You know what I call that disease? I call it Groundhog Day. That's what I see from people from in the music scene and from just a creative scene altogether. Like they go through the same process each year. Of I'm gonna do it. Rare. Things start happening. You get comfortable with things start happening, and then you stay there. And then it comes back around. And then you know it's not really.
You're repeating the same thing until you give up.
Yeah, and you go around in the same cycle, and you're getting older and older, with belief at one stage of the year, and that belief turns to start slowly going away until it drops out, and then you motivate yourself to get back up again. Then you go back in the same cycle.
Yeah. Alex Hormozy talks about it like that entrepreneur cycle where you just keep repeating the same thing till you either give up or you realize this is not working, do something different, or you just run out of cash or something.
And like that's what happens. You either do something different and have the same circle again. You get what I'm saying? Or you have a new idea, same circle again.
Yeah, I think that's normal till you find. The aim is to find a way to get out of it.
Yeah,
I think that challenge is normal for everybody.
But if you don't know you're doing it,
you're
gonna keep
doing it. Because it's that. But when you're rooted in survival for so long, it's hard. It's a hard conversation to have because sometimes we're giving people the accountability that they don't have the maturity for. So it's like when you're rooted in survival for so long, yes, someone like say we have 10 people, one of them sees it, but the other 9 are still okay with just surviving a little bit better than they did last year. So they're okay, that circle. It's like, okay, I'm doing better, but they don't realize they're still in the same circle. So that one person might be telling them, but they're looking around, they're still seeing 8 other people doing the same thing. They're like, no, we're still doing better. Maybe I'm doing a bit better than the other 8. but they forget about that one that's slowly escaping, slowly getting out. And then eventually they look back, they'll be like, time's gone, a lot of regret. Opportunities are not happening as quick as they were. They've got kids, they ain't got the time that they had, they ain't got the youth, they ain't got the energy. And it happens like if you study, like, I always studied the older generation and how they move and the things they possessed or how they presented themselves. And if you study like your older, always study your older generation, always study them. And if you don't like what you see, get away. Always, like, even down to your family, always study them. Like, I was studying my mum, for instance, from a young age. I was like, something ain't right, something ain't clicking. I knew something ain't right, like the pattern wasn't leading to where my brain wants to go. Like, something ain't right. So I always had that holding me back. And without that, I don't think I'd probably be sitting here today, because that was always in the back of my mind as I'm doing whatever I'm doing. We're like, okay, something ain't right. Then eventually it went, clicked. I was like, okay, I see it now. I know what I meant, and now it makes sense. But most people don't have that, where they think it's okay. Then eventually they realize, oh, it wasn't okay.
Yeah,
They've done too much now.
Yeah,
like the consequences of changing your life is far outweighs the benefits of changing it. So it's like
he says, that's the reason why you have to study what's been there in the past. And sometimes it can seem all good. You get what I'm saying? But when you use the word study, yeah, explain a bit more what you mean to study, because I think I know what you mean. Like, because I'm a analyzer of people.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
To study, there's a difference between learning and studying. Because learning, you're just intaking. Studying, you're intaking, breaking it down, and sending it back. So you might tell me something. I'm going to break it down, study it. I'm going to study the components. Okay, is that right? If I move that here, what does it say? What does it do? If this person does this, is it possible to get this back? Like, you break it down. So, like, for example, when I say the study of men is, okay, what does it mean to be a man? What is the optimum version of a man? What is the version of a man that benefits this world? What is the version of a man that benefits his children? So, okay, you move that all around, move all the components around. You're like, okay, does it make sense for a man to sit around and do nothing? Like, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. To study is to be objective, to be able to get the information and actually be objective and be logical enough to say, okay, this works, that doesn't work, and I've seen it happen 1, 2, 3, 4. I've tried the information 3 times. Okay, there's a pattern here. This is how it goes. So you studied it now. You're like, okay, I know if I follow this pattern, it's going to get me negative results. You're like, okay, forget that. I'm not going to go there. I know if I study this pattern, it's going to give me positive results. Okay, cool. I'm going to go there. And that's what it means to study, to break it down, look at it objectively, send it back. And then you might get it again, send it back, break it down again, send it back. Don't ever settle for the information on first basis. Break it down. Some people call it first principle thinking. Break it down to its foundations, and then you actually see the truth of how it works. Like, it's like having a podcast. We can break it down to its core fundamentals. Obviously, now it might be a bit complex. You've got mics, you've got multiple cameras, but what's the basics of it? It's like, okay, you need a mic, you need a camera, you got your phone. Okay, cool. And from there, you can then build. So it's like, okay, how do I then get it to 3 different angles? Okay, cool. How do I get the sound clearer? Okay, cool. How do I separate the sound for the video and etc. and edit the short forms, etc. Like, when you start building, but to begin with, take it back, study it to its first. Like, because there's no point you studying 3, 4 camera if you ain't got the resources for that. Go break it down to its first principle, study it.
And that's what I tell people that have become a part of this podcast. Like, bro, you need to learn.
Yeah.
Because if I've built this and you want more out of this, you need to understand. You've got access to all of this, but do you understand it?
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you come in there, you're sitting down and you're being ignorant to even understanding how far you can take it or what's in front of you. Or like how this actually benefits you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? And you can still stay the same. So it may look like you're improving, or you may look like you're doing a lot more. But if you're not taking in the information, where are you really going to go? You get what I'm saying? Because there's been a lot of study in here. There's been a lot of understanding. There's been a lot of everything that's in here. I have to understand myself. It comes to the stage like me and you here, there's no...
Yeah.
There's no one filming. It's just me. Once it's done, I'm gonna edit this. I edit every single podcast.
Yeah.
I do everything.
Yeah, yeah.
I do the clips.
Yes, so you're
I
competent. You're
studied the
competent.
clip guy.
Yeah,
You know, the guy that I was paying someone £500 a month to do clips.
Yeah.
And whilst I was paying him, I'm asking him questions till it comes to a stage where I do that myself now.
Yeah.
You get it?
You're competent, like you are competent in that field, but competency takes time and effort, and people don't like that. Like if we had a meal right here on the table and we said let's go outside, almost everybody, if we offer it to anybody, they'll take it. But if we go outside and said to a person, yo, you can get a meal, but you got to do 10 years of work, this, that, do that, they're gonna say no, because in their head they might win the lottery 2 years in, like because that's short.
Or they might take the work and not actually do what's required.
Yeah, because that short-term goal is that short-term dopamine hit is always far outweighs the long-term play, the long-term suffering, or the nights where you don't even know if it's gonna work. Like you don't even know if the opportunities will come, like because that's all part of the long-term play. And I think most people don't study because it's painful. It's painful, like to be in a place where you study something and you break it down and then you find out the truth sometimes, or you find out you was wrong, and then now you have to change your mind
100.
and apologize and say, you know what, like, but there's nothing wrong with changing your mind.
Nothing wrong.
And that's what studying gives you the skill to do.
I feel like a lot of people in Birmingham feel they're already educated, or do you get what I'm trying to say? Like they put themselves in a boat of pride gets in the way, and I already know how to do that. Yeah, I was doing that already. Or rather than listening to understand information that's in front of them, you're putting a mask on of acting like you understand something, and it's like that's what I'm saying when I have comments. I'm like, bro, you gotta understand when I'm talking to you. You know how much learning I've had to do to understand the position that I'm in now. For you to be talking to me in a way where you understand, I can clearly see you don't. You get it? Break down them walls.
I think it's hard though for people to, because one thing I've realized is there's a lot of smart people in Birmingham. There is a lot of competent people in Birmingham, but they're not up to date with the world. I feel like where you're at is you're very up to date with the world. You've because of the podcast and other things you got going on, you see certain dynamics, you see certain plays.
I have to, because this is the business I'm in. Yeah.
You're in there. Where other people, they're very competent in their fields, but they don't know where the world is at. For example, I generally believe the average person in Birmingham will do well in America. Because I feel like you have to be a lot more competent here than you will probably be in the UK, in America, for example. But people don't understand where the world's at. Like, they just think, okay, I don't know that much. No, you do. You really are got something going on. You just got to push it out to the world. It's bigger than what we know here. And we have this small-minded kind of disease in Birmingham, where it's like, oh, we're just from Birmingham, you're from Handsworth and but the world is massive, my bro.
Massive.
Someone could be paying you from the other side of the world. Like, some of the people that we know, let me fly you now. People fly them out to say, okay, cool, come talk on this. But they're an expert in their field, and it's took them a while to get there. But they ain't no difference to like me or you. And then they've also put themselves out there so people can see their work. And I think that's the thing now. Like, people doing a lot of good work, but they don't want no one to see it. That's mad.
Yeah, it's crazy. 100.
Like, you don't want to be known. Like, you don't want people to like. And I get it. Maybe you don't want the fame or whatever. But that's where the world's at right now. People want to know you.
100. And that's why I do say, like, even if you feel like you don't want to be out there, at least understand what it takes to be out there.
Yeah.
You get it? You can be in the background, but you still know what it takes. You get it?
And also, you choose what you put out there.
Yeah.
Like, have your body of work, no matter what it is, painting, videos, like, whatever. Have your body of work and put it out there so the world can see it. So people can actually look at you and be like, okay, he's competent, I'll give him a job. He's competent, I'll pay him. But people need to see that level of competency. And the only way they can see that, sometimes it's by you putting your work out there. Like, your immediates, like people who have your number, they'll pay you, but there might be a day where they don't pay you. And sometimes you need a stranger to pay you. Like, you need people to be like, you know what, let me just go click on, whether it's a view, it all adds up, whatever, whether it's a like, it all adds up. and you need to put your body of work out there. And how you put it out there is up to you, because we all have different artistic flares. But just put it out there and have a
100.
body of work.
Yeah, that's true. The biggest currency right now is data.
Yeah.
So you see, when you're talking about studying men, and you bringing men together, and like he says, you're gonna study it, break it down. All of that is all data.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? That's how I see the podcast as well. Same kind of thing. Like, even when you see like Red Light, So Wild, and all those things, I'm watching every episode, I'm watching every person, and I'm collecting data.
Yeah.
As type of people, what it takes to become a certain type of individual who's financed by online social media, what you possibly may need to do, or even the things that you can avoid. It's just all data, bro.
Yeah, it's all data. And the beautiful thing about data is a long-term play.
Yeah.
Because with data is you then see if what you found out earlier on is true 5 years on, or how's it. I think with everything, this is a long-term play, and you get to see over the episodes what happens. You even get to see, like, say you have a guy and like, was they right? Was that argument, who was right? Because time will always reveal. Like, we'll always see where the world has gone. We'll see, oh, you was wrong then, or you'll see where your life is then. You're like, oh, you was right, whatever. And that's the beautiful thing about data. I love data. I love patterns.
100.
Like, my brain just works like that. Where it's like,
Same.
okay, I can't wait to 5-10 years time. Let's see. Let's see where it's at, and it helps you plan longer when you just like the way it looks. Like, you just seeing how it plays out year after year after year after year, and that is a beautiful place to be, because you're no longer chasing the short-term rewards or the shiny penny. You're no longer doing that. You're now like, okay, I got my plan. I'm gonna stick to it, brick after brick after brick. Let's see what house I build.
100, bro. 100. Yeah, man. See these kind of conversations and the type of person that you have. You got loads of information, and it's backed up with the education side of things. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that you didn't know. Well, you expressed that you didn't know who you was. Yeah, and now you've gone on a journey, and it's backed up with education. Is sick, and it's what's needed in this city, bro. You get what I'm saying? And then mixed with a level of understanding content online, and, you know, branding. Possibilities are endless, bro. You get what I'm saying?
I think it's just, I don't break it down like that. I break it down as like, I feel like we should all be creative in it. I feel like I've got a plan, and it's not like when people say business, my aim is to just be self-sufficient, and kind of just spend time with my kids and my family, really. But in order to do so, I understand how the world works. And the problem that we have sometimes is, like you say, like with the Birmingham things, for example, we don't know how the world works in terms of economics, and resources, etc., time, money, even down to education, medical care. These are all resources that we can all have. And to be self-sufficient, you have to break it down in certain ways. And I've literally brought down my life in a particular type of way that I understand, okay, cool, if I want 5 kids to go private school, for example, over a long period of time, I want it to be, it's going to cost me this much, etc. You know these things. So then you look at things, what can I do to make sure I can get the resources that I need, but also give me the freedom. So, for example, if I'm a therapist, I can turn around and say, okay, I'm one of the best in the world at working with men and young boys. You're going to have to pay me £200-300 an hour. I only need to work 4 hours a day.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that in itself provides me with, if, say, for example, I was a sole trader, like it's not like I'm set up a business and it's taking like tax at the end of the year, etc., or someone's paying me an NI number. Like, you can just expense a lot of things, like whatever, creative accounting or whatever. But to be making £200 an hour for 5 hours a day, that's £1,000 a day, 4 days. That puts you in near enough the top % of the world. So I'm like, okay, if you can do that, that's it. But it might take you 10 years of work to get there, because to be an expert in a field, it takes a very long time, a lot of books, a lot of jarring work. That, I'll be honest, I don't even want to do sometimes. Most of the time.
But on that journey, of wanting to get there, there's always breakaways, because that £200 a day can turn into even a book, a product,
Yeah, most definitely. And
a
these
membership
things,
scheme, study of men. You get what I'm saying?
and
There's
those are the things that we also called your intellectual property. Like the things that you put your name to, like for example, you've got Sinners, and then your name is Sinners. You've got the Sinners vodka. Like Sinners is your intellectual property. If you own that, you trademark that. And certain things like Study of Men is mine. I own that. So if we turn around and say we want to develop a university course called the Study of Men, because male psychology is on the rise, we're studying why young boys are killing girls, young boys are killing each other, men are killing themselves. If they want to turn that, that's mine. So do you have to talk to me?
Yeah.
And that in itself is like, okay, you want me to come in and talk on what's mine? This is my rate, and we don't have that understanding, because if you look at most people in the city, I guarantee most of them ain't trademark their stuff. We can check it. You know, people can check it, but we don't understand that side of things, and it takes a while to actually get a lot of this. One of my favorite people in the world is a guy called Naval Ravikant, and that a lot of my thinking comes from him. And I look, and when he breaks stuff down, it's just amazing. He's like an Indian guy that lives in. He's American, but his heritage is Indian. But the way he breaks down this stuff is like, it's almost like sometimes we overcomplicate our lives. Simplify it, break it down in this way, and go and execute. It's going to take you a while, but you'll get there if you keep going. And I think that's what we need to do. But we need to understand how the world works, like the economics of the world, the politics of the world. Like,
you have to want to take in the information. You have to want to learn. Ultimately, this whole conversation is, for me personally, is about understanding information, wanting to learn, and knowing where you're at and what you need, what's required to become a better version of you.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is just educating yourself, and it don't have to be through the methods that are like conventional. It don't have to be university. You don't have to be this, but you have to want to take in information, and for a purpose though.
Yeah, most definitely. But sometimes you take in information, then you find your purpose. Like I was looking for something to break down the way I've broken down the Study of Men and my body of work before I found my body of work.
True.
So it's like, okay, I know when I find something, this is how I want it to look.
And that's me as well, to be fair.
Yeah. So it's like, it's sometimes, and that's why it's always good to be around people or meet new people, because they might spark something in you. Like spending more time around Craig made me know it's possible to actually make a living off what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So when other people have said to me, "Oh, you won't make no money of doing that," but that's because they've been around people like Craig. You don't know, so you're gonna say that, and that's why you can't take those things to heart, because it's like when you ain't seen it be done, you'd understand.
100.
Because when you're coming from end, who tells you, yo, you got a criminologist who's on Channel 5, murder documentaries, he's on working with the Premier League, working with this football club, that football club, getting flown out to America to talk about this and that. Like, imagine you come from ends and you heard that, man, goes, yo, you're chatting shit, man. Like, that's the mentality that we have. But when you do meet, you're like, yo, real life, this is real.
Yeah, and there's a sick geezer as well.
And he's a sick geezer. It is just, you understand, like, you know this is real. And then you get the confidence to say, maybe I can.
100.
That's what you need.
Yeah.
Maybe I can. And then everything else, like one brick at a time. Before you know it, bro, you've built a big mansion.
For everything can fall into place.
Yeah.
But yo, we're gonna leave it there, because I'm fearful of the cameras. You get what I'm saying? And I can't lose these type of episodes. You get me?
Right.
But my bro, we're here now. Yeah, bro, you just need to shout me.
Yeah,
and
most definitely.
I don't like to have these conversations in a way where it's like you can't come back. You get what I'm trying to say? I like these reasons. I like I'm learning so much just off sitting here talking. You, like I said, you're on your path, but you're giving out so much value, bro. And I feel like the viewers are going to get so much value from this without even having to say anything. Just the level of conversation and knowing that as even two black people, we can just sit down and reason.
Two black people from Birmingham.
You get what I'm saying? That are on a different mission. You get what I'm saying? But still can respect each other. You get me?
Yeah.
That needs to be understood, bro. But
Most definitely.
much respect for coming down, my bro.
Thank you.
And
man.
like I
We'll do it
says,
again. We'll do it again.
you just have to shout me because I'm ready anytime. You get what I'm saying? Don't think that you have to wait for nothing. You could shout me tomorrow. You get me?
Yeah.
That's it.
Nah, most definitely, man. Most
Safe,
definitely.
bro.
up and down, life a roller coaster. Way she bust it down, you gon' make me throw it. Catch it, baby, oh you don't want it. Catch it, baby, oh you don't want it. Catch it, baby, oh you don't want it.